Hi everyone, it's craftytinas. Today's video, I'm going to give you a first look at the tab punch board. This is another We Are Memory Keepers punch board. It's one of my new ones. I did get a few new ones in, so there's going to be a lot of videos coming. I went to make some notebooks, actually calendars, and decided I wanted some actual inserts with tabs. So instead of using my tab punch, I decided to give this a try. Pretty pleased with the results. There's multiple ways of doing it. The only issue I have discovered so far, and keep in mind this is my first project with this board, is that We Are Memory Keepers try to limit us to what size page we're using to make our tabs. So I have a little hack for you today to make the center one, because this is a quarter sheet notebook. That means that it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. 4 of these make up an entire sheet. The insert is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I had to make the cover larger to accommodate my tabs. There are two ways you can do that, so I'm going to show you both ways. One way is only seeing the top part of the tab. The other way is seeing the entire tab with the little shoulders. So I'm going to punch some both ways. This video is actually going to be part 1 of 3. This video in particular is going to be all about the tab punch board. I'm going to show you how to use it. I'm going to show you how to make 3 tabs that are going to fit equally in a 5 1/2 inch notebook or calendar. And I'm also going to show you how to use clear vinyl to cover the tab section so it's sturdier for you flipping and it's not just paper. So I'm going to show you how to cut that out. The vinyl itself, we're going to cut out using the punch board. You've seen my video in the past and I've given you a cut file to make covers for our tab punches. This is going to show you how to use the board in order to make the vinyl covers. It's kind of important because you want your tabs, what you're handling the most, and I'm trying to get the glare to show on it. There you go. So you can see there's just this vinyl piece that goes all the way back to here, and it's cut out in the same shape to give you some support and help a little bit of stability when you're turning your pages. This is going to be the first video. The second video is going to be showing you how to make the covers and bind them. I'm going to bind it using the cinch and bind one using the universal cinch. The third video is going to show you how to decorate the notebook. This one is not finished. I'm going to add a shaker to the top of this notebook. But I've added die cuts inside. They really look great. And I'm going to show you how to make them and how to use a Xyron machine. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. It is Xyron. I'm assuming it's Xyron, like xylophone. I'm going to show you how to use that to put adhesive on your die cuts when they're very delicate like this one. That would put adhesive on every part of the cardstock so that they're in there really good. You could also put them in there with glue, but I didn't want the glue oozing out or to see the fingerprints of the glue. So I brought that machine out so I could use it for these particular die cuts. I will also link them in that third video. I will link video number 2 and 3 in the description of this video. So if you just want to learn about tabs, this video is for you. If you want to learn how to make the complete notebook, including how to bind it and how to decorate it, then that will be the next 2 videos. Another thing I want to mention is these pages are all on my Facebook page for you to download for free. This is called the quarter blank calendar. So you can write your own days in here, the actual day of the month. So you can start your calendar wherever you want it. You don't have to start it as January. You can start it as a calendar for a school year, so it could start in August, and you can start it wherever day you want it to start. The other page, this is a journal page with a blank area for you to add a stamped image, a sticker, or any kind of drawing. I'm going to stamp some images so that the person receiving this book can color them. And I'm also going to leave some blank because it is on both front and back. and I'm going to put some motivational stickers in here. So there's going to be a pocket in the back for stickers. There's going to be a shaker on the cover, and I'm going to show you how to make the die cuts and get them stuck in there. So this notebook is going to have a lot going on. The last page, and I am so sorry, but I put the last page in upside down and backwards. I will rebind it later, but I was just starting the video when I noticed it. The last page is my notebook page with the blue line, and the file on my Facebook page does call it Notebook with Blue Line. All three of those pages and more are on my Facebook page. The link is in the description, so come join us and have some fun. I love that my followers come to Facebook and show me their creations and what they have done with my ideas. I love it. So let's get started with the tab punch. Now, again, it's a small board. It's not very large. They have put sizes in the actual indentation of the plastic instead of writing it. I don't know if they're afraid that this is going to rub off and you're going to lose your measurements. It would have been nice had they put the actual indentations and put the actual ink there so you could see them better. However, I've only used these over here. I'm not really using these because We Are Memory Keepers seems to think they're going to limit me to what I can make with their boards. And if you have seen my other videos, you know that's not going to happen. I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do whatever I want. They have given us measurements for even number size page. It's nice. I mean, you can make any size that is listed here, small, medium, or large tab. Today we're going to do the medium tab. However, I have a 4-inch, a 5-inch, and a 6-inch, and it keeps going all the way to 12. What it doesn't give me is half measurements. My other videos show that I make a lot of quarter-page books, which means they're 5.5, but it also, I make a lot of half-page books, which means it's 8.5. So these even numbers aren't going to work well for me, so we're going to work around it and find our own hacks. Let's get started with the punch. First thing I want to show you is how you can make a punch, not a page divider, but an actual tab. We're going to make an actual tab. And for this video, we are going to stick with the medium size. I don't want to confuse you. I don't want to get you lost. This board could be complicated, but we're not going to let it be. We're going to let it be very simple. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make a medium tab, but I just want to make the tab itself. I don't want to make the page. Very, very simple. You're going to take a piece of cardstock that is larger than the tab you want. And again, we're going to use the medium. It has small, medium, and large. I'm not sure you can see that. I've put a little line under my medium, and I'll show you why in a second. For the medium, I want to, this is our punch. This is a guide that we use for the punches when we're making the divider page. We do not need the guide yet, this little guy right here, so we're going to leave him in its holder, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. We're simply going to punch anywhere we want. And this is the left side of our tab. We're going to flip the page over so that this is on the right, and we're going to line it up to the medium line over here. There's a little squiggly line that's the exact shape. We're just going to line that up, and we're going to punch again. This is our medium tab. It's cute, it's simple, it's easy, no problem. We're going to come and put it on this side, and this raises if you need to. We're going to put it on this side over here, all the way flush. We're going to take our cutter. There is a circle and a blade. You're going to put the circle in the track. You're going to put it in the track above or below your paper. You're going to simply cut the first little piece off. You're going to come to the other side and cut that piece off, stopping before you get to your actual tab. And now, if you want just the tab, you simply cut it off. And you have just the tab. Now the only thing here, guys, is you can glue this onto any divider. You can glue this into an already existing notebook. You simply add adhesive to this bottom section and add it. You can add it to the back so that it looks pretty, or you can add it to the front. Either way. Another solution for this is to fold your paper. Give yourself enough room that you have enough room for the tab. Fold it really well. Now you're going to punch with the folded edge on top. You're going to do the same exact thing we just did. You're going to punch it. You're going to turn it over. You're going to bring it to the medium indicator, the little squiggly line. It lines up perfect, and punch again. Now you're going to put this back in, and now that you know how to cut sections, I don't need to do that. I'm going to cut the whole thing. And I'm just going to run my blade all the way across. And now I have a tab that will allow me to put it on a piece of cardstock or paper. And it's going to be the same on the front as the back. And you can simply put adhesive all over it and close it like you would some of our tab punches that are actually a fold over. So that is two different ways you can make a freestanding tab. Super easy, right? Super simple. Not really any measurements. You're just following the little line. You can make the small, medium, or large the exact same way. You just follow the little guides. So now let's talk about the divider pages. The divider pages take a little bit more effort because of the center one. Because we can't use these over here, we have to do the center one ourselves. So I've come up with a little hack to help us. But let's start with the first tab. The first tab is going to be your top tab. And I'm going to show you on this piece of cardstock here how to get this tab on your top. This is when we need the little bitty doodad. He's kind of small and simple. He has a ridge on one side. When you pick him up, you're going to feel it. Also, there's more space on one side than on the other. You need to put this little guy in the left-hand side. The space between the peg and the outside goes down at the bottom. You cannot put him in upside down, so don't worry about that. He doesn't fit. Don't force it. It goes right in, and we're putting it on the left side. Now we're going to put a tab on this top section. So we're going to put that top section into our punch using this as our guide to go no further. And we're going to punch. And now we have the beginning of our first tab. We're going to remove this little guy and put him back. He goes in the little holder right here for safekeeping. Don't lay him on your counter. You'll lose him like I do with everything. Now that I have the very first, I'm going to flip it over. I'm wanting the medium, so I'm going to take this to the little medium squiggly line. And we're going to punch again. And this gives me my first tab. But now I need to cut off the excess. So that's why we put it back in here. And if you put it flush, it's the right amount of space. And we're just going to cut until we get to the clearing right before our tab. Now I went over on purpose so I can show you what happens. If you go over, you're going to cut into your tab. If you're using the clear vinyl and you make this mistake, no problem. You're going to be covering that up anyway. But that is your first tab. That is your top tab. Now let's make the bottom tab. Now you make the bottom tab the same way. However, if you have one-sided, if you have a printed piece of cardstock and you want that to be the top and the back side is white, then you are going to want to flip it upside down to do your tab. We're going to put this little guy back. We're going to do it the exact same way. If your paper is the same on both sides, it doesn't matter. If your print is on one side, put that print down. We're going to put it back into here and we're going to punch. We're going to put our little guy back. We're going to flip it over. We're going to punch. And then we are going to put it back in here and we are going to cut. And I'm going to watch this time because I don't need to show you what happens when you go past. You're always going to stop before you get to your tab. Now this is our tab for the bottom. So we have a top and we have a bottom. Let's make a center. Now the center, this is the lighter color. The center tab is not available on the marking. So I'm going to show you a little hack, a little trick. I did see someone do something similar on another YouTube. I was cruising before I bought this board to find out if I want it. There's not a lot on YouTube with this board, and this board is old. Like the video I was watching was like 8 or 9 years old. So this board has been out for a while. I would hope if they ever remake this board, they make this into a ruler and not necessarily these little small, medium, larges and the numbers up here. If they made it into a ruler, then we could find our own solutions. But I have a solution for you anyway. I'm going to grab me a scrap of paper because I'm going to show you how you need to make a small hack. I want you to punch your medium tab, and I'm using recycled paper. That's why it's got these printed. Always use recycled paper when you're playing. So this is my medium tab. I want to find the center of this tab. So I'm going to fold it, not even on the ends. I'm going to fold the actual tab, the tab itself, to get the center of that. And give it a really good fold. You want that really nice line. That line is where I need to mark my center. So if you put it in here, back up to the medium, this is my line. I can't draw a straight line. So once you mark the medium, wherever your crease is, you're going to want to take a little tiny marker and mark right there. See where I've marked the little line? And that is why I marked underneath my medium with purple, and I made this little bitty purple line. That is what you need in order to get a centered tab. Now this piece of cardstock that we're going to put something in the center of is not an even piece of cardstock. This one is 5.5. Half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So in pencil, you're going to put a mark half of your book. This is 5.5. So half of that is 2 3/4. So I made a little mark. All you have to do is match that little mark and make it with pencil. Match that little mark with the little mark you made on your board. You're simply lining up those two little marks. Then you're going to punch. You're going to flip it around, bring it to the medium squiggly line because we are doing medium tabs. Punch again. It's very, very close, and chances are my cardstock is not cut straight. I'm having trouble with cutting straight on one of my cuttings. I'm going to cut the paper off the right-hand side, and I'm going to cut the paper off the left-hand side. And now I have a tab for the center. And there you go. That is how you get a center tab. Just by adding a little bitty mark to your board. It's not going to hurt anything. If you don't like it later, you can take some alcohol and take it off. Mine needs to stay there because I will always want a center tab for my quarter page notebook. Now, let's talk about the vinyl. And then I want to show you how you're going to make the notebook using these tabs and giving it a different look. We're going to punch 2 different sizes so that I can show you how the pages line up with the 2 different tab looks. So we're not done yet. In order to make your little vinyl covers, you're going to need a piece of adhesive back vinyl. I use Oracle 651, and yes, you can get that on Amazon, or any sign shop will sell you a roll of it. Find it the cheapest you can find it. I like Oracle 651 because I use that when I'm using my button press machine and for other things. So I just buy a big roll and I can use it for everything. You need to cut a piece 2 3/4 by 2 1/8. Again, this is for the medium tab. When we do the small and large on another video, I will get the sizes for you, I promise. But we're just sticking to the medium tab, and we're trying to keep it simple so you can see the capabilities of this board, but also not get too overwhelmed with what's going on. So I have pieces of vinyl already cut out, 2 3/4 by 2 1/8. The 2 1/8 is where your tab is going to be. So you want the long ways, you want to fold it. And then you want to give it a really good crease. I really recommend grab one of your bone folders from some of your other boards and give it a really good crease. That's going to be important for attaching it. Once you've given it a good crease, now you're going to punch your little tab. You're going to put your little doodad back on the left-hand side. You're going to put your vinyl up against and all the way up. And if you have it right, you're going to see that the edge of this vinyl comes to the very end of that squiggly line. Punch. You can leave the little guy there, flip it over, and if you put your vinyl and it butts up against this and fits in the squiggly line, you have cut the exact size vinyl that you need. And punch. And now you have a piece of vinyl that you can put over your tab. Now I'm not going to put this one on a scrap. I'm going to put it on one that I'm ready to be done. Very simple to put this on. You're going to pull the vinyl off of one side and one side only. Okay? This is no longer sticky. Your sticky is up here. You're going to put this behind your tab, lining it up with your fingers. And then you're simply just going to lay that piece of vinyl down. And now it's perfectly lined up. You're going to go to the other side, pull it a little bit so you can get it started, and then just simply pull your vinyl down. And now I have a piece of vinyl on my tab that is going to prevent this from wearing out. Once you've put it down, use your bone folder. Make sure there's no air bubbles in there. And now I have the perfect solution to my tabs getting worn out. And this is very inexpensive because I used such a small piece. And now I have vinyl. So now let's talk about the two different types of tabs you can use in your book. I prefer that my tab only be seen this much. But you can also have your tab be seen completely. It just depends on how deep or how wide you cut your cardstock. So let's explain. I have both of these books set up. One of the books is 4 3/4 wide. The other book is set up to be 5 inches wide. However wide your book is how wide your tabs are going to be. So this book is 4 3/4 so that I can have my 4 1/4 plus my 1/2 inch, which is 4 3/4. So my outside is 4 3/4. My actual divider is 4 3/4 because we have to come all the way to the end, but my pages are 4 1/4. This is one way to do your tabs, just like we saw. The other way to do your tabs is so that your page comes to here. not here, so that you can have more of a tab showing. In order to get that, your page, your divider, and your cover has to be bigger. This is 1/2 inch, and this is another 1/4. So this whole thing here is 3/4. This is a 1/2, and this is a 1/4, so the whole thing is 3/4. So if I'm using a 1 or 4 1/4 page, I simply need to add to the end what I want to see. And then that's the size my cover needs to be. So 4 1/4 and a 1/2 is 4 3/4. But 4 1/4 and 3/4 is exactly 5. So let me show you how a 5" looks with the tab. So we're going to put it, we already have our little doodaddy here. We're going to punch. We're going to flip it over. We're going to put it to medium. We're going to punch again. I'm going to put it back here, and I'm going to cut the excess off. Now this is wider than the ones I used in this book, so that you can see. And the reason is, now when my pages go in this book, you're going to see all of this. Make this a little easier for visualizing. Instead of seeing just this, you're going to see all of this. And because I did that, my cover is going to be larger as well, because the cover has to fit the divider page. So this is 4 1/4, this is 3/4, so this is 5 inches. There's not a whole lot of difference, it's just a 1/4 inch of a difference, but you have to have that if you want the entire tab to show. And this is really just a personal preference on the look. You don't have to have it show all, and you don't have to hide part of it. It is entirely up to you. The board doesn't matter. It's going to cut that no matter if you want to see it or not. So you have to do your adjusting by adjusting the piece of paper. So remember, if you want only part of the tab to show, such as this, then that is a 1/2 inch. If you want the entire thing to show, like this one, that is 3/4 of an inch. You have to add that measurement to your page. This is 4 1/4, this is 3/4. That would make my cover 5 inches. My cover and my dividers have to be the same, so that would be 5 inches. This is 4 1/4, and this is a 1/2, so that makes this 4 3/4. So my cover and my divider pages would be 4 3/4. I hope that didn't confuse you, and I hope you were able to understand how the tab board works. Don't fear if you didn't get it this time around. We are going to discuss the tab punch board more. We're going to do more sizes, different size notebooks, so that we can do the divider pages. And I'm going to show you how to utilize these little tabs once they are the fold over type. I don't care for the non-fold over. I like the fold over. So we are going to use them as dividers as well, and I can show you how to use those. I realize this is a shorter video than usual, so I also want to explain the book a little bit more. This cover is 4 3/4 by 5 1/2. You never have to go longer because of your little tabs. You only have to go wider. I bound this with an original cinch, not the universal, and I did the split wire design, 4 holes and 4 holes. I have upside down pages, journal pages with a little blank space, and my little 1/4 page calendar. So guys, this is the notebook we're making. This is video number 1. Video number 2 is going to be actually binding these books, because I'm making 3. We're going to bind them, and then the video number 3 is going to be decorating them, including the shaker pocket that we're going to be putting on the front. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to understand a little bit about the tab punch. I know we did not go into very, very big details. I was trying to keep it simple. It could be a complicated board, but we're going to keep it simple and easy so that we can utilize it when we're making our cinch notebooks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you subscribe, like, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the tab punch board. Make sure you join me on Facebook and come back to this video in the next couple of days. Look in the description and you will see video number 2 and then video number 3. Once they are posted, I will put the links in the description. Thanks guys, and as always, happy crafting.